Aha! Time for Gothic II! So I finished the first Gothic a while ago, and I delayed this until Dark Souls was finished. And now that it is finished, we're gonna start. Some of you who maybe have taken a look around my channel may remember that I've actually done part of this game already. I did like 5 videos for it, and that was like the first thing I ever did. Which, it was just kind of like an experiment. I wasn't actually planning on doing a full series for this at the time. I knew I was going to eventually, and that time has finally come. So let's start a new game. Actually, I'm going to check the options really quick. I don't think it has, like... I think this is the only widescreen resolution it has, so we're going to have to deal with that. It doesn't really matter, because putting it at the higher resolution actually makes all the cinematics a lot smaller. It's really weird. Let's just turn everything up, might as well. Controls should be all okay. I'll just assume they are. Alright, let's get started.
A single prisoner altered the fate of hundreds, but he paid a high price for it. He defeated the Sleeper, destroyed the barrier, but while all the other prisoners escaped, he remained behind in the rubble. It was I who dispatched him against the Sleeper. Now it is I who brings him back from there. He is weak and has forgotten much, but he is alive. He's back.
There you are again. I never thought the two of us would meet again.
I feel like I spent 3 weeks lying under a load of rocks.
Well, so you did.
I wonder why.
Only the magic within your armor kept you alive. I had feared I
What I
might not
noticed
be
is
able
that
to
they
rescue you from
seem
the debris
like
of the
with this
temple,
game
but enough
they have
of
a
that.
bad
You're here now. There's a
bad
new
ability
threat that
to
we have to deal with.
like keep track of time, because he says 3 weeks when Xardas said it was like, or the intro said it was like 13 days. And later on there's like this whole thing going on where no one seems to agree when things started to happen. Some people said it was only a week ago, but then another guy says like, 2 weeks or something. Just kind of a mess. Anyway.
After the fall of the barrier and the banishment of the Sleeper, Beliar's wrath has grown even greater. A mighty artifact, so it is written in the old scriptures, will be brought back to this world when the god of darkness sends his henchmen out to search. This search has long since begun. Beliar's henchmen are desecrating the oldest shrines of the gods. The guardians of these holy places have awakened, and their wrath makes the earth tremble. Every powerful magician on this island could sense this wrath. And some of them have certainly begun to face the threat.
Any of these faces look familiar?
You must become their ally. That's the only way to stop Beliar.
At least we have enough time now. I did it. The sleeper
Has been banned.
Pardon me.
You vanquished him, so much is true. But it's not within our power to stop the war that ensues now. With his final furious scream, the sleeper has set into movement the armies of darkness. It was an order to all evil creatures, a word of power that they were all bound to obey. His last order was, "Come!" And they came, all of them, even the dragons.
If you think of it like a porno,
They
then
are
this could get
creatures of an
dirty.
ancient power. I can sense their presence, even here. And they have
Let's keep it
gathered an entire
family
army
friendly,
of
shall
lowly
we?
servant creatures around them.
Where's this army now?
The army is camped not far from here, in the Valley of Mines near Khorinis, and they're getting ready to attack. We do not have much time left.
What can we do?
I should have
This
chosen the
time
other
we
dialogue
cannot handle
options.
it by ourselves. Only the power of Innos will help us against these dragons. A group
Enos.
of paladins is stationed in the city of Khorinis, not far from here. They possess a powerful artifact which could help us to defeat the dragons. They call it the Eye of Innos. You need to get hold of this artifact. Tell the paladins about the threat. You must convince their leader to support us. And once you have talked to him, you need to find the artifact of Beliar. It is the counterpiece to the Eye of Innos. It must not fall into the hands of evil.
What exactly is the Eye of Innos?
It's an amulet. Legend has it that Innos himself was poured part of his power into this amulet. It will restore some of your lost strength and help us defeat the dragons. It also has some other hidden powers. I shall tell you more about that once the amulet is yours.
Why would the paladins give me the Eye of Innos?
Because you are the one who is destined to wear it.
How can you claim to know that?
There are a number of reasons. The most important being, you have defeated the Sleeper. If you weren't a favorite of the gods, you'd be dead by now.
Let's assume you're right and I'm destined to bear the Eye of Innos. How would the paladins know that's true?
The eye itself chooses the one who may wear it. Once you get hold of it and put it on, the paladins cannot doubt your words any longer.
That doesn't answer the question. Why would they give it to me? Anyway,
How can I get to the city?
Just follow the path from here through the mountains. The city is large. You cannot miss it, but watch out. The path to town is not
Sorry.
without dangers, and you aren't nearly as strong as you once were.
I need weapons.
I can only give you whatever little I have here. Look around in my tower. Anything that looks useful to you, you can have.
yes, sir.
I'll be on my way as fast as I can.
Good. And one more thing. Don't tell anyone that you've talked to me. Above all, don't tell any magician. Since I have gone into exile, the Circle of Fire has taken me for dead, and that's a good thing.
Is it? Okay, first things first, you gotta get to this book stand before he does. You get experience for reading it. But this is the one he always like defaults to. So if you don't get to it before he reads it, then you're not gonna be able to read it until like chapter 3 or
Hey.
something. But if you talk to him here, then he'll go back to the other one. I'll do this really
Where
quick.
exactly are we?
As I already said, near the city of Khorinis. I have rebuilt my tower here.
But it's only been a few days since we last saw each other in the Valley of Mines.
Actually,
The
it's been like
servants
2
I
weeks.
summoned to build my tower have done a thorough
See
job.
what I mean?
You can say that again. Where can I find better equipment?
The closest place where you can get better weapons and armor is the city of Khorinis. But down in the valley you can find some healing herbs that will help you if you get injured in a fight. See the lake right in front of my tower. A secret passage leads to the valley from there.
Why is the Circle of Fire not supposed to know about you?
I used to be a high member of the Circle. Even then I suspected that demon magic might be the key to the magic barrier.
But I could never have convinced the other members of the Circle to follow this path. So I left the Circle in order to study the black arts. That is a crime for which the fire magicians, the ordained of Enos, the ever good and virtuous, will accept no excuse. They are certain that I'm still alive, but they have
Even
no
though
idea
he
where
just
to
said
find
they've
me,
taken
and
him for
that's a
dead.
good thing too.
A lot of contradictions. And let's snag this. Try to read it. Can't read
I
it.
can't read that.
Hey,
Talk to him about it.
Can you tell me
Get some
anything
experience.
about this stone tablet?
First, I suspected it might be a magical artifact, but I finally concluded that it is not of any great significance. I have not been able to decode the meaning of this tablet entirely, but it seems to concern the history of a very old culture. If you want the tablet, it's yours. I have no use for it.
so
Neither do I. At least not yet. Let me read the other book stand. Get close enough to read it. That's what I like about Gothic 3. If you're too far away to actually use something, but you're close enough to focus on it, and you try to use it, your character will actually just walk towards it. Which is pretty handy. Best weapon you're gonna get for a while. It's a stick. I actually do find a dagger later, but it's absolutely nothing compared to this. First things first. Unlike Gothic 1, where I did a actually I used to the inventory management, it's a bit different. Unlike Gothic 1, where I played a mod with it, which was a Dark Mysteries mod, Gothic 2 doesn't really have as many mods by comparison. There is one called like Nature's Fury or something, which it changes a lot of the textures and everything, but it also adds some like story points and some new weapons and stuff. I would play that, but the thing is, it's bugged, and I can't actually like play it. I mean, I guess I could, but the thing is, like, a lot of the quest stuff is messed up. Like, people will talk to me as though I've already finished a quest I didn't actually finish, or haven't even started. They'd refer to characters as being dead before I even knew I was supposed to kill them. And there were some quests that just like weren't even available because things that were supposed to trigger never triggered. And so it's just, it could be a good mod if it worked. And other than that, there's not really any additional content mods. There are some things that'll change the textures and whatever. That's not really a big deal. This game looks nice enough as it is, considering its age. What else? So as you can tell, this is the gold edition, which has the Night of the Raven expansion, and it's definitely better with that expansion, but at the same time it's a lot harder. Actually, I'm going to try something that I've never succeeded at before, and I hope it turns out good, like I don't screw it up, which is to go the path of the mage. I've been able to do it without the expansion, but being a mage seems even harder with the expansion because a lot of the enemies you fight seem to have a higher resistance to magic and stuff. But I'll try it anyway. Hopefully it'll work out well. What I'm going to try to avoid doing is something I have a bad habit of doing, which is comparing this game to the last game. I'm always like, oh, you know, this happened in the last game, or this was this way, but now it's this way. Stupid stuff like that. I just kind of nitpick. I'm gonna have to get used to the controls. I'm just like still used to the control scheme for the first Gothic, even though it's been a couple months since I played it. Now, this is something I actually didn't know about for several years after playing this game. I had no idea you could even get back here. There's some cool things, but it's Nothing that fancy. I guess this is the path that most of the convicts took to get out of the valley once I brought down the barrier. Of course, scumbag Xardas puts his tower right in front of it, so if not everyone got out, then they'd have to find another way around. So I've been looking forward to doing this for a while. I just put it off because Dark Souls was like, seemed to be what everyone wanted to see while I was playing. And I'm getting some hiccups. I don't know why. It's unusual. I don't remember that happening last time. That's one cool thing. You can lock on, and your character will continue to follow the enemy even as they move around, which is very useful for enemies like goblins or bloodflies, who spend a lot of time like circling around you. Basically, you don't have to hold down left click to focus on anything and then use the movement keys to actually interact with it. You can set the controls back to the Gothic I scheme, which I don't want to do, because maybe I'm used to it, but I'd rather get used to something that's easier. One thing I love, like, this is one of my top 3 games of all time. I don't know where quite it stands, but it's up there. Stalker is another one. Shadow Chernobyl, which I started to do, but it didn't really get a whole lot of attention, so I just kind of stopped. I'll probably do it again, maybe with a different mod, when my channel gets bigger, which hopefully will happen. This could get dicey. I should have saved. First rule of any RPG, save early, save often. But I happen to be a badass, so there's not too much to worry about. All my saves are still here. 48 hours, that's how long it can take to play this game. Definitely longer than Gothic 1 was. Whoa. That's a bug. Okay, these are from when I first started doing LP for this, so I'll save over these.
Nothing to plunder.
Sometimes the goblins have things, so you should always check them. At least early on. When it's early in the game, you should collect everything that you find. Assuming someone's not watching you steal it. Because you're going to need a lot of money early on. It's not quite as bad as like Risen 2 was, where oh, I should have worn this. It's a belt that gives you extra strength. It's not quite as bad as Gothic 1, where what am I trying to say? Excuse me for a minute, I happen to have a brain fart. It's not quite as bad as Risen 2, where you needed like 500 gold or like 1,000 gold just to learn like essential skills. Alright, this part's gonna be rough. Gotta be cautious. Let's save. It's gonna be trippy. All these saves. Some of those saves have colorful names, just kind of ignore it. But yeah, Risen 2, alright, I'll show you the trick to fighting these. When they swing at you, you gotta back up. And I didn't quite do it right there, so I still got hurt. But watch. Yep. 2 hits, back up. There you go. It's almost guaranteed that you won't get hit by those guys if you just follow that rule. And that technique applies to a lot of the enemies in this game, but not necessarily all of them. Initially, like if you're inexperienced with this game, it might be difficult to try and Like, you might find creatures to be more difficult than human opponents, because you can't block them or anything, which you could do in Gothic 1, but you can't do, and you couldn't originally do in like Risen 2 or anything. But you can still dodge them. If you back up, that counts as a dodge. Even if you're still within range to get hit, you will not get hit. So it's convenient. It's nice to be finally able to play this game, although I'm actually playing this long before I've finished uploading Dark Souls. So it's gonna be like probably at least a week before I actually post this. Oh well. I don't know if that wolf is growling at me. Yeah, he is. Why don't you come on up here, bitch? The young wolves don't have the same AI as the adult wolves. The adult wolves are more aggressive. The young ones are a little more defensive. We'll try to dodge and stuff. Yeah, yoink that. Hey, buddy. Remember this guy?
Is that you? Really? Man, am I glad
I don't know
to see
why my
you.
mouth is moving. Look at it.
Lester, how did you get here?
It's
That
a
was a
bug that happens
crazy
a lot in this
escape.
game for some reason.
After the barrier exploded, I
There's a
wandered
wolf
around
chasing
the
a rat
area
behind
for
me.
a while in
I
total
can hear it.
confusion. Then I spent days fighting my way through these woods until I finally found this valley here. Diego, Milton, and Gorn are still in the Valley of Mines. At least, I think so.
What happened?
What happened?
After the Sleeper was defeated, the entire Brotherhood lost their minds. Without their master,
Whoa.
they were all just empty husks.
And you? What about you?
It was the same for me. I had nightmares and even hallucinations. But once my head was more or less clear again, I ran for it. Once, I thought I saw a huge black shadow pounce on a group of fugitives and burn them all up in a giant cloud of fire. At that moment, I really thought a dragon had come to kill me.
Did you see anything else?
No, I took to my heels and ran.
How long have you been hiding out in this valley?
I don't know exactly. A week, maybe? But there's one more thing. When I came here in the evening, I took a look up on the mountain, and there were only a few trees there. And when I looked the next morning, that tower was there. I could have sworn it wasn't there before. Since then, I haven't left the valley.
You mean Xardas' tower? I knew he was powerful, but creating a tower just like that...
Xardas the necromancer? He lives in that tower? I don't know if I like that.
Don't worry, he's the one who rescued me from the Sleeper's temple. He's on our side.
I'm on my way to Khorinis. What do you know about the town?
Khorinis? Well, it's a seaport. Nothing special.
Sometimes you can
Why do
tell
you
where
ask?
the
I must go and see the paladins who are said to
the
be
new
in town.
dialogue added by the expansion comes into play, because
They won't even let you into the town.
well, sometimes they don't
certainly
even
not
have
to
the
where
same
the
voice
paladins
actor. Other
are.
times the audio quality is actually different. Like it seems like their recording equipment maybe improved when they were doing the expansion. I don't know.
Do you have any suggestions how I could get into town?
I certainly do. I worked for an old alchemist named Constantino some time ago. He has great influence in the city, and he's instructed the guards at the gate to let anyone through who can sell him rare herbs. So it's quite easy, really. You collect a large bunch of the plants that grow here all over the place, and then you pretend you're working for Constantino, and in you go. But don't collect a mix of this and that.
Look at
The
his
guards
neck.
aren't all that bright, and they know nothing about alchemy. The bundle needs to look good to them if you want to get through. I think that 10 specimens of the same kind of plant should do the trick.
Thanks for the hint.
Thanks.
You need to tell Xardas about the shadow. It could be important.
You don't think it was my imagination? You mean there really was a...
Dragon, yes.
You're getting into the thick of it again, am I right?
I shouldn't say in the thick of it. Not yet.
Well, good. If it's so important, then I'll go see him. But not now. For the moment, I'm going to rest. I'm still exhausted after the escape from the penal colony. I think you've got big plans. I'll see you later at Xardas's.
Yes, sir. So we'll explore around this valley here. And then we'll move on. I remember back in March or whenever I started doing this, I could only record like, yeah, see, I'm not quite as aggressive. So these ones are just kind of more of a pain to fight. They don't tend to attack much. But back in like March or whenever, I couldn't even record a video up to 15 minutes long, because you have to have at least a few uploads before YouTube will allow it, just to make sure you're not like spamming or anything, or something like that. I don't know. YouTube's kind of a jerk. Anyway, there should be a purse with some gold around here. But yeah, back then I would actually stop recording when I reached like the limit for the video, and I kind of realized that that's a bit of a pain in the ass. I'd rather record like a big session than just chop it into pieces. Wow, I am not where I thought it was. I used to have this place mapped out pretty well, but I guess it's been a while, so I'm actually extremely confused. Let's see, where's that bag? Supposed to be a purse with gold. A leather satchel. Here's some plants. Plants are good. Probably one of the better healing items you can find early on in the game. There it is. I've worked out a lot of tricks in this game to try and save money, which I will teach to you guys. I don't know if any of you play this. If you're... I mean, you could technically call this a walkthrough, because for the most part I know what I'm doing. But it's also like a let's play, you know, very unlinear. Oh shit, I got two wolves. Now I'm about to have a blood fly after me. Okay. He backed off. Put it away. Yeah, it's nice. Looting seems faster than it did in Gothic 1. That could be because most things just don't tend to carry as much.
There.
But it's also just because the controls allow you to just click and it'll open it instead of like holding click and then pushing forward. That was frustrating. Let's deal with some rats. I gotta save more often, man. Rats are kind of annoying. They are much more aggressive than like wolves or anything like that. But they're also kind of weak. He just came over here, started eating his friend when I was standing right in front of him. I love the AI in this sometimes. I don't think there's another one. Nope. There's a new sword there. It is actually better than the stick I have equipped, but I don't have enough strength to use it. You need 30. I have 10 plus 5 from the belt. First things first. Even though I'm going the path of the mage, I'm going to train my one-handed weapon skill, because there are going to be moments where you're going to need weapons, and training your weapon skill is much more ideal than training your strength, because having a better weapon without the skill to use it will not make it more effective. If you say you train your strength, so oh, I have 80 strength, but I only have like, you know, 30 skill points in one-handed weapons, then you're really not going to do a lot of damage. And the main thing is you're not going to do critical hits as often, especially against the tougher enemies you face later. There are some enemies where if you don't get critical hits, it's going to be an absolute nightmare to try and fight them. And you get critical hits much more often when you have a higher skill. So I'm going to train that. I probably won't train my strength too much. And then I'm not going to do like a bow or anything. I'm just going to spend the rest of my skill points in... I'll learn the first couple circles of magic and then focus on mana for the most part. And then I will do like the later circles. Back here, bitch. God damn it. Fuck you. Alright. Let's heal up really quick. And then the mushroom. If you eat enough of these mushrooms, you will actually gain some more mana. I think it takes like 50 mushrooms. Whoops, I just blocked.
One less monster around.
It's like 50 mushrooms to gain 5 points of mana, so it takes a while.
Trouble? Damn. I don't know where they're all hiding. You kill one, and shortly afterwards they're all back again. Wait a moment. I know you. You're the fellow who was constantly baking arrows for me in the Valley of Mines.
This guy, he, if you guys don't remember, he had a hut that was like along the path from the old camp to the new camp. And let's see, one of my Gothic videos was me running away from snappers straight to this guy to try and have him help me. That was pretty funny. But his name is Cavalorn.
Your name is Cavalorn, right?
Ah, I see you haven't forgotten me after all we went through in the cursed colony. Where are you heading?
To the city.
Well, well, to the city, eh? You may run into problems with the guards. They aren't letting just anyone in anymore. Since the
I don't
area
think there was
here
an
is
option I should
swarming
have
with
chose,
bandits.
but whatever.
In the past few days, one of those former psionics from the Valley of Mines came by here. He said he constantly goes in and out of Khorinis. He went into the valley below the big tower. There must be a way in there somewhere near the waterfall. Maybe you should talk to the
There's
fellow.
another contradiction there. Lester said he hasn't left the valley since he got out of the prison colony. This guy's saying he's going to and from the city, so like, what the fuck? That's my only complaint with this game. Well, there are a few more, but that's one of the biggest ones.
Interesting armor you're wearing. Don't you belong to the Shadows anymore?
Shadows? They haven't existed since the fall of the barrier. The moment we could finally leave the Valley of Mines, there was no reason for me to stick with them. Now I work for the Water Mages. I belong to the Ring of Water.
The Ring of Water.
Tell me more about the Ring of Water.
I'm not really allowed to talk about it. All I can do is send you to Vatras. He is the representative of the Water Mages in Khorinis. The best thing would be to talk to him. Tell him you've come from me. Maybe he'll take you on as one of us. We urgently need more good people.
Weren't you and your people enemies of the Water Mages back then?
Those crazy old days are over. There isn't any more new camp or old camp. Now that the penal colony no longer exists, everyone is on his own. Most of us former prisoners are still being hunted. The Water Mages were able to get my sentence commuted, and now I can move about freely.
What are the Water Mages doing now?
They're up to something big. It has to do with an unknown region of the island.
An unknown region? Where is it supposed to be?
I can't tell you more. Talk to Vatras in Khorinis.
What are you doing here?
I'm sitting tight. If it hadn't been for these damn bandits, I wouldn't be here.
What was that about bandits?
Have you slept through the last few weeks?
Huh?
I'm talking about all the riffraff from the penal colony that are making themselves at home here in the area, plundering and murdering for all they're worth. I guess I'm lucky they didn't kill me. I let down my guard for one moment, and they clubbed me from behind. No idea how I'll get all my stuff back now.
You were robbed by the bandits?
Yes, they beat me down and tossed me to the goblins for lunch. It was damned important stuff. A letter and all my money. I absolutely have to get it back. But without someone to watch my back, I'm not going back there. That cowardly rabble.
Can I help you with the bandits?
Maybe. But as scrawny as you look, you surely haven't held a proper sword in your hand for weeks. Well, I don't have any choice but to take your offer. My time is running out. So, pay attention. Down this path here, you'll find one of those filthy holes in the ground that bandits like to hide in. The fellows there are the same ones who stole my stuff. Let me know when you're ready, and we'll nab the rabble.
I need better equipment.
Those swine haven't left me much. I can give you a wolf knife. Will that do for now?
You call that a knife? But what about healing?
I
I
still
don't know why
have
he
2
complains.
healing
It's actually the
potions
best
here.
weapon you're gonna find for a
Interested?
while.
Sure, give him here.
Alright, 2 potions. I'm not gonna go fight them yet. Yeah, see, 30 damage and 3 points to your one-handed talent. Definitely one of the better weapons you're gonna get for a while. One thing I'm definitely grateful about and glad that I'm not doing like a mod or anything is the fact that I don't have to do all the voiceovers. That was so frustrating. Like, I love Dark Mysteries and all, but I should have predicted that doing an LP for that would have been a pain. Just trying to do all the voiceovers, just in case, you know, you guys couldn't read the subtitles or something. So they were kind of small. If you don't have a good internet connection, then you'd have to do it, like, watch it on lower quality, which I didn't really film in high quality either. Alright, got 2 purses. I don't remember where I found the other one. Anyway, if you just go down the road here, you actually run into one of the bandits. He's standing outside the cave. And you can actually talk to him and, like, let him know. Like, he starts acting... Initially, he's trying to, like, screw you over. Then he starts acting friendly, and you let him know, hey, Cavalorn, he's coming to kick your ass. And he's like, holy shit, I'm getting out of here. As you will see in just a moment. But you have to choose the dialogue options correctly. Otherwise, you'll just screw it up.
Hey, where do you come from?
Yeah, do not choose Xardas. I come from the mountains.
I've come from the mountains.
Exactly, you come from the mountains, and that is bad for you. Very bad. They're looking for you, a whole bunch of evil guys. There's someone here you absolutely have to talk to. Follow me.
I don't think so.
Who's looking for me?
Half of Khorinis is after you, and you're trying to tell me that you don't know anything about it? Ah, I see. You just don't want to talk to me about it, hmm? All right, it's your business. So, are you coming or not?
Who should I talk to?
To my leader. His name is Brago. He can explain everything to you better than I can. So, what about it? Are we going?
How do I know this isn't a trap?
You know, I'm getting tired of you. If you don't want my help, then just go to the city and let them put you behind bars. You come with me now or forget about it, see?
Easy, my friend. Someone else already tried to trick me.
Oh?
This guy suggested that we should get an amulet together and share the profit. Once we reached our goal, he and his friends attacked me.
It sounds as though they got you involved with the wrong people. Where was that?
I was a convict in the mining colony.
You come from behind the barrier? Man, then we were there together.
I don't know you.
I was a digger in the old camp. I didn't have much to do with the whole thing. But what is more important now is you are in big trouble. Someone has put a pretty price on your head, and he's handed out a few posters with your mug on them. If I were you, then I would be very, very careful. There are people with us who would kill their own mother for gold. But I think we boys from the penal colony ought to stick together.
Then I guess I better thank you now.
It's nothing. Just make sure you stay alive.
So he becomes much more friendly when he realizes that you were both in the colony together. Initially, like, he was just trying to lead you inside where they would kill you and, you know, collect your bounty.
Who's the fella who pays the bounty?
That I don't know. There's only one of us who knows him.
And who would that be?
Hey man, I can't really tell you that. You know how it goes.
10 gold pieces for the name of the guy who raised the bounty.
Oh man, I really can't do that.
Spit it out already.
Oh man, all right. His name is Dexter. Near the big farm there's a steep rock. There's a watchtower up there, and a few mines. He has his hideout somewhere nearby.
See? That wasn't so hard. Here's your gold.
And just don't tell him who told you.
I don't even know your name, so don't worry about that.
Can I have the picture?
Sure. After all, it's your mug on there.
There's bound to be a lot of trouble here before long.
What's up?
A guy named Cavalorn is coming to get you.
Rats, he's still alive. I'm out of here.
I see you heard his voice got much wimpier after that. That's because this part didn't normally happen in the original game. And that's going to happen a lot. You're going to hear a lot of like weird differences in the voice acting. That doesn't look a whole lot like me. He almost looks like Japanese or something.
Hey!
Alright, now we can do this.
Let's mix it up with those guys.
Sure thing. Just keep my back clear, okay? Now they're in for a nasty surprise.
Oh, come on. Are you fucking kidding me? The game just crashed. Alright, well I guess that does it. Not a very good start to the series, but hopefully it'll pick up from here, and I will see you guys later.